Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is October 2nd. Yes, 2nd, 2024. It would be a Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. And we mean everything. As we head into the election, we'll cover it like no others, without an agenda, ulterior motive, or bias. It's just we the people. We'll talk markets, the economy, your job, your industry, taxes, debt, deficits, spending, scams, shams, corruption, you name it, we cover it. And as we start out today, we cover the debate. Last night, we have some thoughts. Number one, the woman on the right, Margaret Brennan. If I say anything about her, her husband would probably find me and punch me in the head. So let me just say, another biased hack. That's all. Another in the tank hack. That's all. Can't even take a window on worldwide TV and just be a journalist. You have to inject yourself because you don't like the person on the left, but you like the person on the right. So when the person on the left is making a point, a very important point, you cut his ass off. Oh, the rules. Take your rules and stick it. This is about the future of the country. That's number one. Number two, I loved that the demeanor, you know what's tiresome? You know what's tiresome, right? I think it's old now. The name calling, you know what I'm talking about. The utter stupidity, the Eddie Haskell-ness of certain candidates. Go look up Eddie Haskell. I like that. J.D. Vance, let me be blunt. I say he's a 5 times better candidate for president than Donald Trump. And I only wish that it was him at the helm and not Donald Trump. I'm a big believer that a president of the United States has got to have a way about them. You can be very passionate about your beliefs. You can even be pissed off about your beliefs. But there is a way. I want to be able to tell my sons, I want you to act like that. J.D. Vance, much better than Trump, but guess what? Not the case. I thought he did a very good job. In a minute, I'm going to explain what he missed badly, but terrific. I thought his acumen, his inflection, we're not talking policy yet, his expressions, his shrugging off the dolt moderators, thought he did very well. Waltz. Well, as you know, we disagree with his policy big time. I think he carried himself well. And that's what you want to see first and foremost. He carried himself well. Of course, he lied. Of course, J.D. Vance wouldn't answer the question about January 6th. Understood. But I thought, as a whole, they carried themselves as gentlemen. Good to see. But for me, a big point and the big miss, and that's why I keep telling you that if I was running for president, I'd be up 10 points right now. Because what do most Americans care about? I want you to think about that. what do most people of the world care about? Freedom, good health, have enough that you do not have to wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and worried about where your next paycheck is, a good job, stability. You want to know your kids are having a good education and you want greatness from your children. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want upward mobility. Hey, you're out of college and you're not sure what you want to be, and you get into something, all of a sudden you realize, I'm going to be a doctor. How do you get to be a doctor? Well, you've got to educate the hell out of yourself, and you got to go to medical classes, and then you got to go to medical school, and then you got to pass all kinds of exams, and then you go into a hospital or whatever, and you're an intern, and then you start out and you have a few patients, you're starting to make some good money, and slowly but surely upward mobility. Or you start frying burgers at McDonald's, and slowly but surely you become a manager of that McDonald's. And then McDonald's likes you so much, they have an offer you to move to some city, and we're going to give you a franchise, and we're going to loan you the money, and let's see how well you do. And then you do so well, here comes a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, you're a multimillionaire. It's what everybody wants. I hear none of it. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, J.D. Vance, here you have a representative of Kamala Harris, that wants to get rid of the Trump tax cuts, meaning every tax cut, wants to raise corporate taxes on all corporations, wants to raise long-term capital gains taxes so it disincentivizes holding longer, wants unrealized capital gains, wants a wealth tax, wants the investment tax that Obama started to go higher. But they keep telling us, oh, it's just for the frickin' wealthy, because, the wealthy are just terrible people. So imagine you wanting to become great, wanting to become wealthy, and they basically tell you if you become wealthy, you're a tax cheat and you don't pay enough, and we are going to tax the living hell out of you. By the way, what's that idiot New York mayor that once said, oh, we want to, he was running for president, de Blasio, we're going to tax the hell out of the wealthy. And I don't hear J.D. Vance even bringing up the taxes. I would be sitting there saying, if you move up your lot in life, you work your tail off, you wake up early, you go to work, you get there on time, you work late to do better and stronger and everything else, and here's what they want to do to you. First off, this tax rate's going to here, this tax rate's going to there, this tax rate's going to there, this tax rate's going to there, and it's going in their pockets and out of your pockets, while under their watch, everything you're paying for is going up. In other words, they should have a banner at the Democratic National Committee saying, we are the vicious cycle. Nope. Another missed opportunity. The Republican Party's a bunch of doofuses. It's such a gimme. And they can talk about it all they want, that it's for the wealthy. Don't worry. I got news for you. You tax the wealthy. You tax the wealth. You tax the higher levels. That means as you get bigger, as you move up the ladder, they're taking more and more because you're the enemy. Control freakism, Marxist, socialists hate success because success don't need them. So they prey on you. And J.D. Vance, just like Trump, missed another gargantuan opportunity. I would be leaving them laying with just a few sentences. They wouldn't even know what hit them. Imagine the 1-2 punch of you're paying more for everything you buy, and then they still want to tax you more. Do you know California? I think they just added how many taxes? Like 47 new taxes on the citizens of California. Newsom and the rest, they hate their citizens. And they keep voting them in. It's so weird, ladies and gentlemen. It's the weirdest thing. It really is. Newsom just raised the gas tax again. It's amazing. Stunning. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it, then the markets, lots to say. As always, I'm Gary, this is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, let me finish it off. Under their watch, everything you are buying, you are paying some things much higher prices, yet they blame everybody else. President Harry Truman had a sign on his desk, the buck stops here. The sign on Biden and Harron's desk, the buck stops everywhere else. They blame it on supermarkets gouging that have 1% to 2% margins. They're ill. What a gimme to take them on. The simple 1-2 punch. Oh, by the way, Biden's also was out there lying. He is not doing it anymore. He kept coming out and saying that inflation was 9% when he became president. It was 1 point something, and it wasn't until a year later was 9%. The media, of course, says he misspoke. I got news for you. In my world, a lie is a lie is a lie is a lie. So the 1-2 punch, the nerve, the grapefruits of these people. The first, everything you're paying for is way up in price. And then tax the living hell out of you and then tell you, don't worry, it's not going to be you. I think I'd win California, New York just on that. I would go to California and campaign and show them what they are doing there. How much more do you want taken and confiscated out of your wallets and pocketbooks into their hands? Do you know in California there are billions of dollars missing that was supposed to go for the homeless, and it is worse than ever? How the hell are these people polling 1%? Do you know Secretary Mayorkas? You know, the one of them that was saying that the border was secure? By the way, that was the gimme that J.D. Vance touched upon, but they just doesn't explain it well. Do you know he's saying they don't have the funds for hurricane victims? From Hurricane Helene, he was quoted. Yet they gave $350 billion of our tax dollars to a Democratic hack named John Podesta for the climate. All that money, how come it didn't stop Hurricane Helene? Because you can't. It's a scam. It's a con. You can't stop hurricanes. You can't change the weather. You can't stop cooling. You can't stop the heat in the summer in Florida. They went after you decades ago saying it was global cooling. They told you if you disagree with them, you're a schnook. And then it warmed up. They changed it to global warming. And if you disagree with them, you were a schnook. And then there were blizzards around the world and they lost it. And they met in a room and said, we need to come up with better marketing. And they came up with those two words, climate change. So if it's cold, they're right. If it's hot, it's right. Let's just blame it on everything and go after their wallets. And boy, oh boy, they've done a great job. And now they got the grapefruits to say they don't have enough money for the hurricane victims. $350 billion doled out to one man to dole out to friends and relatives and donors, and not one dime accounted for? Do you realize in a debate what I would do to these people? I would have them face down, chewing on the floor with these facts, and the Republicans can't even figure that out. Trump is too worried about this, that, and the other thing, and calling names and this and that. It's a gimme. People care about their health, their wealth, their safety, their family, their job, their future, their stability. Show them that. No. Let's shoot shoplifters when they come out of the store. That's what Trump said. That'll make you feel better. But J.D. Vance, damn good job. I give him an A. Waltz, I thought he was fine. I disagree with policies, but I don't think he called himself, a knucklehead? That's moronic. What can I tell you? There's your debate, and now we move to nothingness. There's no more debates. They're going to go and tell you this, that, and the other thing. The media is going to murder Trump on 24/7. They're going to kiss the ass of Kamala Harris and Waltz every day, which is what they do. Every now and then they'll have a random act of journalism. And I mean random. And let's just hope we get gridlock. I am 100% sure the Republicans will have the Senate. I do know that. And that's my take. And more importantly, the Mets play Game 2 tonight. Just so you know, in the wild card, the 3 games, 2 out of 3, but the 3 games are at Milwaukee against the Mets. It stays at the better team going into the playoffs. So let's hope they sweep those mothers. And on to, I believe they would play Philadelphia Phillies next. And I'll try to show up at one of those games. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the debate. You know where we stand. We believe it's the Ebola virus versus the bubonic plague. And J.D. Vance for president. Again, that's my take. And don't be mad at me. It's just one man's opinion. I'll respect your opinion. Hope you respect mine. We deal in facts here. And we move forward. Hey, quiet day for the indices, but not so quiet for things. Just remember, when we talk markets, we're about 200 sectors, countries, commodities, what have you. And there are a lot of jello moving on the plate right now. I'm going to start with China, which opened hot again today, sold off, and finished strong again. China stocks are in the redwood trees. If you put the Eiffel Tower on top of the redwoods, and then you put the Seattle Space Needle on top of the Eiffel Tower, that's how much they have gone up in a very short period of time. We'll talk more about that and everything else. I'm Gary. This is the one only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. And by the way, when I talk about upward mobility, I also talk about philanthropy. The things I love to read is about Taylor Swift was in Edinburgh, Scotland, and Liverpool and Cardiff. And what did she do? She directly into food banks, 925 people getting meals that may have not got meals. That's the stuff I love, and that's what people strive to do. You know, we're going to have, I believe, 2024? I'm going to guess it's our 21st or 22nd year. I have lost count. My family started. It's called the Blessings Banquet. The Kaltbaum Family Blessings Banquet. Every Thanksgiving, we will serve. It's been in the neighborhood of 300. I think sometimes we had 400 kids from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida, a Thanksgiving dinner, and we can pretty much guarantee a lot of them, not all, would not have had a Thanksgiving dinner. And there's music. Every now and then, Shaq showed up one time, Ken Griffey a couple of times, but mostly it's for the kids. There's music, there's games. I get some magicians. Kostya Kimlet, one of the greatest magicians in this world. A buddy of mine has shown up with some of his magicians. Do you know how great it makes me feel to do that? This is what people love. To be able to do things like that. If they're working their arses off, to be able to do things like that's what I'm talking about. And yet you have this one side of the aisle that is determined to take out a machete and cut you off at the knees and take out a mallet and bang you right over the head as you go higher in life. And then they demonize you. Oh, you blah, blah, blah. Privilege, few, and fair share. And I say, go stick it. These are the things we're talking about. And we will continue talking about them. So Taylor Swift, well done. People are mad, oh, she said she's going to vote for Kamala. I'm not mad. Anybody has the right to vote for whoever they want. Terrific. Wait till she sees her tax bill. Anyway, serenity now. We move on. So the Dow was only up 39, S&P was flat, NASDAQ only up 14, NASDAQ 100 only up 29, transports were down 131, advanced declines were down a little bit, but some jello moving on the plate today. China. Even I underestimated the move. I did not underestimate what China's done. They have taken what Jay Powell did here and times it by a bunch. And that's why you're getting this vertical straight up move. And some of the higher octane stuff is up like 100% in 2 to 3 weeks. And every time I think, we're hitting the wall, nope, hasn't happened yet. So obviously still very underinvested there. Beats the hell out of me what to do. I, as a technician, cannot get in when things are so stretched and extended. It comes under the headline, darned if you do, darned if you don't. Am I PO'd I'm not in? Well, yeah. But I must tell you, I wasn't in the bear market, and let me just be clear. Devastating bear market in Chinese stocks. Devastating. You know how they've been telling you for years, diversify? Devastating bear market in China stocks. Crushed. Not right now. In case you don't know, if you want to know devastating, the FXI has just gone from 25 to 35 in the last 3 weeks. That's the main exchange traded fund. It was 73 in the year 2007. It's still over 50% down from 2007. It is still down. Now it's only down about 35% since 21. Was much worse a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, we'll keep you apprised, but again, it's about as much stretched and extended I have seen something, except for the meme stocks, which are now dead. Except for the meme stocks, straight up. Semiconductors. Every day we're looking to see if they're going to get revived. And yesterday was a terrible day. Today, a much better day. I don't have much to say to you at this juncture, except today was a better day. The strength, Broadcom, but has done nothing for about 14 weeks and did a 10-for-1 split. We'll let you know if it decides to break out. Another one is Monolithic Power, MPWR, because it's above the 50-day moving average. And NVIDIA today is in the 15th week of range bound, topped out at 140.76 in late June, held the 50-day moving average today, and hopefully it's tracing out something good. Remember, we've made some serious coin on this stock, and we would love nothing more than NVIDIA's come out of this range after it's done. And here's how we'll know. Are you ready? First and foremost, very short term, needs to take out yesterday. Reversal day. Let's call it 122.50. After that, I'm going to call it taken out 127.70. Then 131.30. Then we'll start talking about the old highs. Remember, in order to go higher, you have to go higher. In order to go higher, you have to pass levels you haven't got through in the past. And that's all we look to do. Most important, as we said, NVIDIA, constructively we think, held some support today. My biggest issue, it trades 342 million shares a day after the 10-for-1 stock split. Am I asking for 600 million share day on a big up day? You're damn right I am. that will tell me the institutions are showing real conviction in their buying. We'll let you know. On the negative front, we are finding more names breaking down. Not the end of the world, but just more names. We're noticing, and I believe we mentioned this yesterday, Microsoft acting terribly. It's Microsoft, Google, blah. Dell, yuck. Adobe, terrible. Some big names. Amazon, not so great. They rallied up a little, but just in case you don't know, Amazon is trading about 8% off the highs of June, and you have to go back now to April. Actually, the end of March. No gains in Amazon. Great company. We'll keep on watch. Do you know I just had my Hammer Mill paper sent to me from Amazon instead of going to an Office Depot, and I paid $9 less with no shipping fee than I would have paid at Office Depot. Boy, oh boy, Bezos. He really nailed it. I already told you about the Post-it notes. I got 50% off of what I would have got at one of the stores. But stock's doing nothing right now. Netflix keeps teasing the upside. Meta's been strong. Apple, I don't know what to make of it. Bad day yesterday was starting real bad today and held the 50-day moving average. All the talk, the iPhone not selling as well, it's holding up pretty well. Let it tighten up, I'll jump on it again. Up next, what else we got in these markets? This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Lesson time. How about a little lesson? Nike. Stock was down 6.77% on an earnings drop of 26% year over year. More importantly, a sales drop. Now, I just want you to think about this. They sold in the ending August quarter 10% less merchandise than the quarter last year. And we do year over year because of seasonality. That's a business that is contracting. We don't own any. If you have noticed in this radio show forever, and we can safely say this, and by the way, we must measure our words here. Do you know why? We are the most regulated industry out there, and I will never, ever, ever, ever do something that bites into those regulations. I can never guarantee you anything. I can guarantee you your money market funds. Actually, I can't. They're not guaranteed either. Interesting. But what we can tell you on this radio show, we have nailed for you and for ourselves not being in bear markets. We've lost money, but that's only because we try to buy things that are on the launching pad that move out, and sometimes they just tuck in like frightened turtles. Why don't we own Nike? Why haven't we owned it, writing it down from 123 in December 23 to 83 today, and in fact go back to 21, 176 down to 83? Last I looked, that's more than 50%. The reason why we don't own Nike, it's been mostly in a definable bearish phase downtrend that for us was easily recognizable. Now, when the market bottomed last October, all boats were lifted. That's what happens at bottoms of bear phases for the markets. But it was lifted up, and we could tell it was lifted up, and since their numbers have done nothing more but decelerate. And what that means is sales growth, 1, 0, -2, -10. Stock prices will reflect that. It's the same thing that's been happening with Tesla. Tesla's been better because now a promise of robo-taxis, but it's still down about 40% from a few years ago. Most people don't recognize it. And sales growth in Tesla when it was 50, 60, 70, well, last 4 quarters, 9, 3, -9, 2. Earnings on those sales, -37, -40, -47, -43. William O'Neill came up with CanSlim, and it's a combination of fundamentals and technicals, but also knowing that the characteristics of bullish stocks has great fundamentals, strong earnings, strong sales growth, and the longer the growth, the better. The stronger the growth, the better. But you must recognize that those stocks will top out on the best growth as the growth ends up decelerating. We're just letting you know. For you. For us. We continue to avoid the bear markets and the bear stocks. They all have the same characteristics to a certain extent. They all have the same vibe to them. And the fundamentals are usually troublesome. So just as a lesson, maybe one day Nike's going to turn it around. We sure hope so. But have you read which celebrities are no longer with them? Just things to think about. And we hope they turn it around. We like success stories. As we told you, the last big Kmart shut down last week. They sold the same things as Walmart did. Walmart thrives, Kmart is done. Why didn't we own any Kmart? Bear market, bear business. So just as a lesson to you, listen up, ears open, because when we start talking sectors and certain stocks, bear markets, bearish phases, downtrends, we'll always tell you we don't know how bad it gets or how far it goes. We just know in real time, market's not favoring. And in case you haven't seen, in the last 3 or 4 years, there's a ton of devastation out there still from the year 21 when they were topping out all the growth names. Peloton, anyone? There's your lesson of the day. Very important to pay attention. And when I get accounts in that have 50 stocks in them and 10 of them are in definable bear markets, some of them down 80 and 90%, we weep. It means they're not doing their homework in recognition of bull and bear markets. Lazy. They're lazy. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I'll be on Varney and Company tomorrow in the 9 a.m. hour. Don't miss that. And until tomorrow, go Mets. Peace out, all. Thanks for joining. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.